it's difficult to talk about your own life because myself, like all of you, our stories are in the telling, not the told. You know, our lives are full of plot points. And what a plot point is to a writer is something that happens in the story that just spins it into an entirely different direction. And we all have plot points in our lives. When we met someone who changed our careers or met our spouse, that's a plot point. So I tried to decide what were the big plot points of my life. And this title came from when I did a show in Florida. I was hired to be the celebrity host for a benefit at the Lyric Theater in Stuart, Florida. And I arrived, and John Lesser, who was the producer, brought me in to meet the stage manager. And he said, this is Jim Brochu, our celebrity host. And she said, Jim who? I said, me? She said, well, who's Jim who? I said, well, and John said, well, he was here with a show called 0 Hour. She said, that was you? I said, that was me. She said, you're Jim him? I said, well, I used to be Jim who, but now I'm Jim him, which was very, very nice. 0 Hour was the play that made me a household name. Except it was only in my own household that I became a name. At the Surflight Summit Theater in Beach Haven, New Jersey. We did 12 musicals in 12 weeks. We'd rehearse one in the day, we'd do a different one at night. We were working 24 hours a day, and it was the greatest summer of my life. We started with The Music Man, and I'm playing the mayor. Now see that fellow Larry down there? He was playing Harold Hill. And it was a real shame that he had all these songs, and he had a baby talk R. He sounded like Elmer Fudd. So he'd sing, you got trouble, my friends. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. It's Marion the Librarian. Okay, now the girl right above him, Ann Steiner. Ann Steiner sang like a hinge. She could not sing, but her mother gave $5,000 to the theater to get her the part of Reno Sweeney in Anything Goes. 13 Cole Porter songs, none of which she could sing. At the end of the show, I was standing next to her, and this woman was saying congratulations, and she got to Ann Steiner and said, oh, you sang so much. How to be diplomatic. Opening night of Music Man, Davy Burns comes down to see me. That red outline is David Burns sitting in the front row watching me do a shameless impersonation of him as the mayor. And that was the beginning of the career. He started to get me agents, introduced me to casting directors, but still, you had to find work when you weren't working. Well, I was lucky. I got a job as a director, directing Bye Bye Birdie at the Club Benet Dinner Theater in Morgan, New Jersey. And a young kid came in, he was 16 years old, and my God, he just knocked me off my chair. He could sing, he could dance, he could act. He had blue eyes that would just stare holes into the wall. Jet black hair, so handsome, so sweet. And I gave him the part of Hugo, the girl's boyfriend. He said, good, now I can quit high school. I said, oh, no, if you plan to do that, I'm not going to give you the part. He said, all right. So I gave him the part. He quit high school. I brought an agent out to see him, and the agent said, this kid has something, and signed him. Started doing Band-Aid commercials, then TV, then film, and so I am so proud to say I gave his very first job to Johnny Travolta, who is still one of the 10 sweetest, most wonderful human beings you'd ever meet in your life. The other job I had was terrific. I sold orange drink at the back of theaters. And I would watch these musicals every night. I would see Funny Girl night after night, and Hello Dolly. And one of the shows I did was The Roar of the Grease Paint, The Smell of the Crowd, starring Cyril Ritchard, Captain Hook. So one day I'm putting my my little orange drink stand together. come out the stage door of the Schubert Theater. Here's Cyril Richard. I mean, I said, oh, Mr. Richard, I sell the orange drink at the back of the theater. My name's Jim, and I just think you're wonderful. You're Captain Hook. And he just kept looking. He went. Finally, I lost a breath, and he said, could you go to the Gaiety Delicatessen and get me a corned beef sandwich? I said, happily. He said, corned beef on rye, coleslaw, 2 pickles. I went, brought it. He tried to give me a tip, and I said, no, please. I said, but, geez, can I hang out with you? And he said, well, of course, we'll have dinner. Well, this turned into a ritual. And Cyril Richard told me the funniest theater story I have ever heard in my life. Would you like to hear it? It's a tad risque, but we're all adults. Cyril Richard was having dinner with Rex Harrison and Moss Hart after a performance of My Fair Lady, between the evening and the matinee performance. They were sitting in Sardi's. A woman of a certain age came up to Mr. Harrison with her program and said, oh, Mr. Harrison, I saw My Fair Lady this afternoon. I waited a year for the tickets. You're my favorite actor. I was breathing the air you breathe. If you could only sign my program, you would make me the happiest woman in the world. And he said, you old biddy, I don't care what you like or who you like or what you waited for, the air you breathe or anything else. Just get the hell away from my table. And she took the program and she smacked him on the head with it. And Moss Hart said, well, that's the first time I ever saw the fan hit the shit. Isn't that great? I made my Broadway debut in a revival of Taming of the Shrew. Not the original, a revival. We played Town Hall.
What this means to me. You have no idea. I have been privileged to be an actor for the last 42 years. And they're telling me, well, you're an overnight success. I gotta tell you, F. Scott Fitzgerald was a big fat liar. There are second acts in American life. I'm one of them, and I thank you from the very bottom of my heart.
You know, I think if there's any moral to this story, is don't give up on your dreams. No matter how old you are, they can still come true. And then the final dream came true for me when I got the call from Sardi's. And they said, your picture is going up on the wall. And it went right next to Davy Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. To quote Barbra Streisand, you're terrific. Thank you very much. Oh. Thank you. Oh boy. Thank you.